David, a wondering I have about emotional intelligence is, let's say youth leaders really try to do this work within themselves. They try to know what they are bringing to the group. They try to be present to a youth group. How do youth workers model that? And, a part two to that is, can EI be a catching thing in a group with young people? Is that something that can be incorporated into group work and ministry within a group of people?
I was hoping for an easy question. So maybe if we can reserve one, that would be great. These are really good questions, unfortunately. Look, there's lots of different things to do. One is, I just think it's cognitive reappraisal is the strategy. Another way to say it is, do you remember what it was like to be that age? And some of you, some youth ministers may say, oh yeah, absolutely. I remember my first day of school or as a teenager, it was wonderful, it was fabulous. But I don't think that's, that's maybe an outlier. So it increases our level of understanding, accurate understanding of what the inner emotional life is of these children and teens and whomever we administer to. So just remember that. What was it like? How easy was it or how difficult? So reappraise your view of these things. And I think it changes your attitude, which is from kind of this dismissive, well, that's not that important, to actually, I can see that if this this feeling is consuming you, because you remember that. And then once you do that, I think what we talked about live was this validation. Right? You don't have to agree with people. So validating doesn't mean agreement. But you feel that way, I'm not, why would I argue with you? And so that lack of validation is, oh, you have it easy. Or, don't worry about it. It's going to get better. And I know we want to encourage people, and we do believe it'll get better, but just say, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry you're going through that. I can see how you might feel that way. Or yes, school can be tough. Or, a lot of us don't have parents, two parents or any parents that we can turn to, or any adult. So it's recall that, have some empathy for people, validate their experience. And frankly, if you do those kinds of things and you show up like as a real person and not some person wearing these clothes with a collar, you are somebody who gets it. And I think that's what can be catching. Right? Which is, I hear you. I really hear you. And there's also a concept called emotional contagion, where how I feel I will infect the rest of the group. And that works both ways. I'm almost hesitant to even mention it, because now it sort of puts the onus on us who have this power, this position power. And if I'm having a bad day, it almost means I shouldn't share that, because I'm going to infect that group that I'm ministering to. On the other hand, most of us are not good liars, so it's going to come out anyway. So how do you actually share your own experience without overwhelming people? And I think that's really doable. It's like, everybody, hi, lots is going on outside of this meeting. But I'm really so pleased to be here with you. So you don't have to share everything what's going on, and I think that models things. So that's how this thing can be catching as well. Model it. And we're not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not.
In ministry, we talk a lot about appropriate self-disclosure with our church members, and how important that is to find the line between sharing nothing and being entirely inauthentic. And authenticity leads to more authenticity, vulnerability leads to more vulnerability, but then there's also crossing that line into the realm of way oversharing in a way that now the group has to take care of you as pastor, and that's not appropriate. So finding the in-between there, where you're being really honest with where you are, but you're also not the one sucking all the life out of the room.
Yeah, I would imagine it's better to stay on this side of that line, right? Because if you cross it, you've crossed it, and there's no unsaying it. So
It's true. And the tricky part is if you always stay on that side of the line, you're not as relatable. So
yeah,
finding
that's
ways
a
to
tough
do it.
one.
Yeah.
Which it also means, as a youth minister, you need peers.
Yes.
I mean, that's the group that you can
Yep.
disclose to freely, I would think. You need
Yep.
that peer support. Otherwise, it's got to be awfully lonely and it can tear you up, I would
Yep.
think.
Yep. That's what it is. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. Another expression is Lone Ranger ministry, and trying not to be the Lone Ranger. That you actually, and many of us serve churches on our own. As churches are
Mhm.
getting smaller,
Mhm.
most ministers are solo. So finding community. Yeah. Thank you.